Good evening, brothers. How you guys doing? Hit me up if you can hear me okay. I have actually changed my setup tonight, quite a bit actually. So I'll need to not do that. The mount for my overhead camera is now on the right hand side of me rather than the left hand side of me, so I'm definitely going to hit that a few times. But I'm actually using my new camera here as well. So this new camera is hopefully a lot more detailed than the one that I had before. But I have just set it up. Thank you. Questing Basics. How you guys doing anyway tonight? Crusader Dan, Scott, Mr. Pongman, Mick, Hammers, Martin. A few new people here tonight, so welcome if you're new here. We have had a lot of new subscribers this last week or so. So thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Tonight I'm painting Sangreguard. We've been painting them for a little while now on stream. They're very close to being finished, but they'll be finished tonight. I just have 4 left to do some washes on, so that's where I'm getting started in a moment. And yeah, I might at some point play with this bigger camera because it should give me a lot more quality. So we'll maybe play with that at some point during the stream. I kind of want to play with it now, but I'm sure it's fine. So good evening, and yeah, we haven't hung out for a little while actually, guys, so thanks for being here. We've been busy doing those tier army list videos that everybody seems to really love, so we're working through them. We've got another one filmed, I've got another tactics video made, and we are going to be live on Monday night for a game against Death Guard as well, and I've been painting up furiously. So here's the Blade Guard veteran, and I'm pretty much calling this guy done now. So I've done 3 of these guys, and tomorrow I'm going to put some transfers on them. Maybe like transfer on each shoulder pad, transfer on the shield. I might put something on their knee, undecided. But yeah, so I'm calling these Blade Guard veterans done. I've just done 3 of them actually, but had 4 more that were like 50% done, not too far away from being finished. So this is my golden Blade Guard veteran. Good evening, Lagmeister. How you doing? I'll get the stickering finished tomorrow, says Mick. Wow, that's a good job. Been subbed for a few months, but my first live stream. Well, hello, Hammers. On these live streams, we just talk anything. We'll take questions from chat. We just hang out. I try and make it a little bit like when you used to sit in Games Workshop and just paint with your buddies. That's what I think it is. So what I quite like to do on the live streams as well, if we're just hanging out, is ask people like what you guys are up to, what are you painting, and we just hang out, talk Blood Angels, and then I'm calling. So this is a Sangreguard that I have. So I was doing a batch paint of 8 of them. The one on the right is kind of finished. The one on the left is what I'm about to do now. So I washed them with what is it again? No, it's not Agrax Earthshade. Glad I checked that. 1 second. I washed them with Reichland Fleshshade. I think that gives them this like sort of. It takes them. So I use Retributor Gold, and then I put them into Reichland Fleshshade, and I'm just so basically what I'm doing now, and I did 4 this morning. It takes me about 25 minutes per model. I'm just gonna wash the entire gold armor with the Reichland Fleshshade. Like I'm not gonna edge highlight it or anything fancy. We're just gonna wash it, and it's gonna change that Retributor armor into a nice reddy golden bronze-ish. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah, I mean that's where I go with my Sangreguard. So once we do these 4, add 8 more finished Sangreguard to the lot. I think that's me got about 16 or 17 Sangreguard painted now, so that'll be good. And you know what? I'm still using this. I'm still using this cheap Citadel base color brush that was sent to me by one of the members of the channel, 2 Hit to Wound. So he sent me a bundle of these new synthetic Citadel brushes to try out, and this brush, I checked the retail price on it, it's about £3.50, so this is a very cheap brush. The head's a bit crap now, to be honest. Like, it's not keeping a point, but for doing these washes, and I reckon like I got like maybe 40 or 50 hours decent painting out of this. So if I compare this brush to the expensive, the regular GW brushes, like this synthetic brush has been way better value, and it's lasted way longer as well. I mean, I tend to wreck brushes pretty quick, but I'm really pleased with this. And the guy that sent me 2 Hit to Wound, big shout out to him. The guy that sent me these brushes, he sent me like a bundle of them, so I've got like 10 more. So this is going to keep me going. So it's awesome. The Bladeguard Veteran isn't too far off my army. You know, some people ask me why I painted the Bladeguard Veterans in gold, man, but like I guess the reason that we did them in gold was like, and I guess like I did my Vanguard Veterans in gold as well. Like they're kind of supposed to be first company, and I figure like first company are pretty close to the Sanguinary Guard in terms of experience, or in terms of, I don't know. So I've done my Vanguard Veterans and my Blade Guard rather than the red armor and the gold helmets. I've just done gold armor and red helmets. I think I just finished painting a lot of red models when I got to these guys and was like, I just want to change. So that's why we've done them a little bit different, but yeah, I like them. Sadly working this weekend, but glad I can catch the stream. Hey Texan, thanks for tuning in. How you doing? Are you from Texas then? Might be a dumb question, but we do get people all over in here. Mick says he's hard on brushes and he prefers synthetic. Yeah, do you know what? I've only just started using synthetic a few times, but like I think they're fair enough. Like I haven't had any issues with them. So yeah, as I say, it's going to be a pretty simple paint job we're working on here tonight. We're just going to be putting Reichland Flesh Shade over all the gold, and then after that, maybe there's a little bit of touch up to do. Oh, that's going to be annoying if I'm hitting that camera mount with my brush. I'm going to have to be careful for that. Okay. Alright. We're going to have to move this camera mount a little bit. Okay. Let me see if I can bring it up a tiny bit. Good day, Dan. How you doing? Good day, Jeff. I missed a question there. Super excited. I have 25 Sanguinary Guard and 3 Librarians Dreads, Commander Dante, a couple of Sanguinary Priest, and a bunch of stuff I don't need coming in the mail next week. Jeez, man. You've just... I don't know how long that would take me to paint all that, but that's about a year's worth of painting for me, no joke. 3 Librarian Dreads. Like, I guess probably it takes me like a month to do a Dread. 25 Sanguinary Guard. I mean, I've been painting these 8 for about 6 weeks now, so... That's a lot. That's a lot you've got coming. I'm echoing. Thank you. Yeah, I have another microphone. Thank you, Martin. Sorted, hopefully. Yeah, I have to use a different microphone when I'm streaming with the models, because there's just too many bits of tech that get in the way, I guess. I forgot to switch the other one off. So that should be it now. The model's looking great, thank you. I've spent a lot of time on these guys. I really thought, like last edition, when I painted a ton of Sanguinary Guard, and see last edition, I used to run like a lot of Power Fists in the Sanguinary Guard, because with the Sanguinary Priest giving you +1 strength, it meant that like your Power Fists were pretty much always going to be like strength 9, and then you got +1 to wound from Red Thirst, so your Power Fists pretty much... You know, they basically wounded everything in the game on 2s, and I kind of really liked them. And then obviously this edition they buffed the axes and they buffed the swords, giving them both +1 strength, and the Power Fists are more expensive, so it's like a lot of the models that I painted last edition are kind of... I mean, they're fine and all, but... yeah, I don't run Power Fist Sanguinary Guard anymore, so... Good evening, Jaegerbomb. How you doing? How many years would you guess it would take before we see Blood Angels chapter exclusive? the AOS Stormcast look like Sangreguard. Yeah, do you know what? On Reddit this morning, Jaegerbomb, someone, and thank you so much for the $5. Appreciate that, man. Someone on Reddit posted like that they just literally bought in. Oh, it's not Indominus. Is Age of Sigmar Dominion? I think it's called, the new release. I haven't been following it too. I don't play Age of Sigmar. I actually have an Age of Sigmar army, but it's all in its boxes. Like, I bought like probably 1,000 points of stuff, but I've just never got round to painting any of it or even making it. So how long before we get Blood Angels exclusives? I mean, I wanted Blood Angels exclusives probably in 8th edition, to be honest. Like, you know, when they released the Death Company Intercessors, when they couldn't take chainswords and bolt pistols, like last edition, where they were just like, they basically just had the bolt rifles. I think everyone was crying out for like Blood Angels, what do you call it, exclusives. And then last edition, at some point, they released, you know, Marneus Calgar with like 2, I think they're called Victrix Guard. Again, I don't play Ultramarines very often, but I think they were called Victrix Guard, and they were basically like Primaris bodyguards for Marneus Calgar. And I honestly thought when I saw that, I was like, oh cool, that means that Blood Angels will get like a Sanguinary Guard box with Dante, maybe, you know, like a Primaris Dante with like Primaris Sanguinary Guard, I guess. And, you know, none of it has come to fruition. So how long do we have to wait? This thing's going to be annoying on this side. I'm gonna have to figure out how but I'm going to hit it all the time. Alright, well, it's a new setup, so bear with me. Oh, it's not tough to get started, man. You just need to go for it, right? Like, if you're saying that you haven't started, just go for it. What I do, I was actually thinking I might make a video on this at some point, James. What I do is I just set certain times every week for painting, right? Like, I don't, you know, because a lot of people say like, oh, I'm not motivated to paint. Well, like, sometimes I'm not motivated to go do my day job, for example, right? But like, because it's like I can't just be like, I'm not going to do my day job today because I can't be bothered, right? Like, you need to do your day job to get money to feed your family, etc. So, like, it's almost like you don't need to be motivated to do your day job, right? You just do it because you have to. So, what I would do, or what I would say, is just set a time every week, and it doesn't have to be a long time, you know, just maybe an hour or 2 hours or something, and that is the time that you paint every week, and it's as simple as that. And the way I would look at it is like, let's just say you set 2 hours a week, you know, I don't know, Wednesday night at 5 o'clock or something. If you think about it, so in 1 month you'll have had done like 8 hours, and I wouldn't really put an end time on it. Like, if you're enjoying it and you're in the mood, just keep going. But if you're struggling with it, sure, put an end time on it. But yeah, you know, in a month you get about 8 hours done. So in a year you'd get about 100 hours done. I mean, 100 hours is a lot of painting, and that's just 2 hours a week. You know, like, just set a time for it. And just because, like, people always say like, oh, I've got no motivation to paint. Like, just take motivation out of the equation. Like, motivation to me is like some I feel like motivation is bullshit, honestly. Like, you know, like, don't let motivation come into it, you know. Like, I have another friend who actually plays on the channel, Kev, actually, and he always complains about motivation, and I'm like, Kev, just set a time and just do it. Like, it's literally that simple, you know. Like, it doesn't matter, you don't need motivation if you set the time. You just, the alarm goes off and it's like, oh, okay, it's painting time, you know. And in some ways these streams are actually great for me, right? Because like, I have a stream at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and it's just like, you know, maybe some Saturday nights I maybe don't feel like painting. Like, I already said to you guys, I painted this morning for like probably 2 hours, yeah, maybe 2.5 hours. So I mean, today, like, I could have, you know, if you'd already painted 2 hours through today, maybe you wouldn't be motivated. But like, motivation didn't even come into it. It was just like, oh, I need to go do some painting now, and you know, you just go do it. And that's how I would approach it if you're ever struggling with quote-unquote motivation. Just take motivation out of the equation so it isn't there. Much easier, honestly. I need to make a video of that. The humidity has been pretty today, so I've been clear coating models like crazy. Do you know what? Yeah, I need to actually check the humidity, because I really want to get a bunch of these models varnished, because I varnish all my models once I get them to a certain point. And yeah, you know, I'm probably going to be using most of these models in a game on Monday night, so it'd be really nice if we get a bunch of them varnished before the game, just because it saves having to do touch-ups afterwards when you inevitably drop them or whatever during the game, right? 3,000 points of Ultramarines and 2,500 points of Blood Angels, 500 painted. Well, you guys sound like you need to do exactly what I'm saying. And Jaeger Bomb, if I ever get to a point where I get to 10,000 subscribers, I believe that's when Games Workshop that's when Games Workshop will talk to you, like they'll take notice of you. So if I ever get to a point where I get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I mean, it's possible, like, you know, I'm still growing reasonably decently, so if we ever get to a point where, like, we get to 10,000, then maybe I might get some insight knowledge. But I really had hoped that we would have seen... I would have really hoped that we'd have seen more Primaris, at least Primaris jump units. Maybe not Blood Angel specific ones, but like some sort of Primaris blood jump unit. And I don't think I count like Inceptors or Suppressors, or what else is jump packs? I guess Reavers. Like, I don't count any of these as jump pack units. I'm talking about a proper jump pack that gives you a 12-inch move, lets you arrive from deep strike, lets you upon wings of fire because we're Blood Angels, and then the guys that have it have like all melee options, right? So it would be like at least chain swords and bolters for everybody, you know, like none of this nonsense where it's like, oh well, you've got bolt rifles, but you're, you know, like a death company with bolt rifles. Makes no sense to me. But yeah, thank you very much for the $5. It's always appreciated. Good evening, Tony. How you doing? Marcus, John speaks the truth about motivation in life and in painting. Yeah, I mean, it just for me, ever since I made part of it actually was like, so my daughter, like I have a daughter and she is 20 months old, and when she was born, I was like, oh shit, when am I going to get time for painting? So I get time for painting when she's asleep, or yeah, that's it. Do you know what? Because it's in the mornings and the evenings. So I literally only get time for painting I only get time for painting when my daughter is asleep. So basically I scheduled, you know, like I sort of said to myself, like I can't paint any other time. So when my daughter is asleep, that is the time that I will make sure that I do for painting. And ever since I started that, I've probably actually got more painted, honestly, since my daughter was born, just because like I have these rigid times, and I know it's the only time in the week that I get peace. So you make sure that you use that time, and then, as I say, like there's no procrastination, there's no debate in my head, oh, can I motivate myself to go paint? It's just like, I'll just, you know, this is my time, let's go do some painting. And I actually think it's more, like, is it weird that it's more enjoyable? Because, like, I'm just, you know, like, I just see it as, like, time for me as opposed to, I don't know. I'm generally quite weird, though. Good evening, Joseph. How you doing? I just started buying models 3 months ago. Well, welcome to the hobby, Texan. It's a cool hobby. I've been playing it for probably 25 years now. You would think at this point I would have everything I need painted, but no, apparently I do not. One day it'll happen. I have 6,000 points of Blood Angels painted, 2,000 points of Death Guard not painting, and 1,100 points of Knights painted. My backlog is dumb. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Having a big backlog can demotivate you as well, I find, right? Like, if you've got so many things to get through, that can then become demotivating as well. So, yeah, it's just, you know, just try and schedule a time. Trust me, you know, do it for a month and then come back to me and tell me. And also, don't put any pressure on yourself when you're going to schedule that time. Like, just sit down, pick up a model, and just pick up some paints. And, you know, at the end of the 2 hours or however long you've got, see where you got to. But, like, for me, like, I very rarely go into the painting sessions with a plan of, like, oh, I've got to paint this. I just go in and sort of, it's more spontaneous. And I think it's a much better way to approach it. Making it part of a routine sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of things on routine in my life, and I guess, you know, exercise is another thing, right? Like, people always say, like, oh, I can't get motivated to do exercise. I actually had this conversation with my wife today about exercise, because we did like a 6-mile hike this morning. I've got this new backpack, which is pretty cool. So oh shit. This thing on my right hand side is going to forever stump me, but I've got this cool new backpack where you wear the backpack and the baby goes in the backpack, so you're like carrying the baby around, like, and it's got like a chest strap and stuff. And I was saying to my wife, like, you know, when we're on the hike, I was like, I don't always particularly want to go hiking on a weekend, right? Like, some weekends I just want to kick my feet up and like sit and fire up the PlayStation or something, but I do it to try and be healthy. And it's just, you know, it's the same thing. It's like I don't motivate myself to do hiking. I just go hiking every weekend, and then that way, you know, there's no like, oh, because I remember I used to try and do running a lot, actually, to be healthy. And the amount of times I was like, oh, I don't want to run today because it's cold. Oh, I don't want to run today because it's snowing. Yeah, so for me in my life anyway, motivation is bullshit. Do you know what? Sometimes it reminds me of that Yoda quote, right? Do or do not, there is no try, you know? And I guess motivation is the same thing. I have 4k points of Blood Angels mostly painted, 2k of Flesh Tears painted, Orcs, Demons and Tau, all are in various stages. What are your thoughts on Warhammer Plus and progressing the lore of Blood Angels? Do you know what Jagerbomb asked just 5 minutes ago about that? I think, so we have a Discord, guys, and I mean, you're all very welcome to join the Discord. The link is in the video description. If it's not in this video description, it's in a bunch of my other videos descriptions. If there's like a little, because they said that there's going to be some exclusives, right? Or they said there's going to be some model releases tied into Warhammer Plus. I watched the presentation, but like I wasn't 100% on the details. But anyway, so we've got this new Blood Angels, Angels of Death CGI trailer, CGI show, I guess, and it's like 10 episodes of 10 minutes. But they're also doing like, I guess they're sort of like lore videos about like key characters and moments within the timeline. So like if there's gonna be a video about like a little 10-minute cartoon about Dante, and it progresses the lore, and after they release that said little video or something, there's a new model to buy. I would love that. Like, absolutely love that. I mean, I feel like some of our characters have been neglected for far too long. I was actually very disappointed with some of the rules in the new codex. I'm sure if you guys have watched any of my streams, you'll notice that in my battle reports, I pretty much never run any of our named characters anymore. And I genuinely like our named characters, but where they are right now, they're just not as competitive as they should be, I feel like. I think something has to be said for the multi-melta meta, right? Like, there's so many multi-meltas around. Toughness 4 characters to me just instantly melt. And you know, you can shield your characters to a certain degree, but like against some of the armies I play, they just run so much melta fire. They can clear out a whole squad and clear out your characters in a single turn, which I really dislike. Or it's not just I dislike it, it's very difficult for you to counter or to fight back against it, I suppose. So like if Warhammer Plus is gonna have like a little video about, I mean, it would be a great opportunity for Games Workshop, right? Because I actually don't think Warhammer Plus is too expensive. You know, like a year for $50, and you get like that pretty cool Colexus Assassin, which I mean, they would charge, I don't know, like at least 20, 25 for that Colexus, I imagine. So yeah, I mean, it's maybe something we can hope that will happen. Like, I feel like the Blood Angels lore is ready to be progressed. I really don't want to have to wait another whole edition for it to happen, but at this point, who knows, right? I mean, we were all very excited about getting our codex first, and I think actually it would have been better if our codex was a bit later on, because it feels like the codexes coming out now are a lot more powerful than Blood Angels. They did mention how a key Blood Angels character shows up. I missed that then. Did they mention that in the little Warhammer Plus live stream that they had a few weeks ago? Do you know what? I might have missed the end of that live stream because I was doing family things, but I did try, and I thought I watched it all. But I mean, I could have been distracted, I suppose. Siege of Baal was the time for a Blood Angels release. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Siege of Baal was the time, but I mean, we're probably gonna have to wait a little while, I imagine, right? Because like, I've heard that there's a new Black Templar release. I think Valric was talking about it on his channel, that he's got some inside information where there's some sort of new Black Templar release coming, maybe. So yeah, we might have to wait a little while, I guess. But it's a weird one, right? Because all these other factions are getting like really, like the Sisters just got some sort of like Primarch type unit. Sorry, need a steady hand there. I bought some resin figures to proxy for Mephiston, Dante, and a Smash Captain. I mean, that's cool and all. I mean, I don't like it how they've said that for Games Workshop tournaments, all the models need to be the official GW ones now. It's a little bit annoying, but I guess it is what it is. Every time I look at these guys, I notice that I've missed something. On this guy, I've missed one of these gems on his sword. I feel like Dante is pretty survivable. He's -1 to hit, and he's a 4+ invulnerable. Hard to make him tougher than that without giving him a toughness buff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Chapter Master I run, Dovin, but the Chapter Master I run is probably about 6 times more survivable than Dante when you do the math hammer. He's absolutely crazy. People have literally started ignoring him in games because they can't kill him. And it's sad that he's so much better than our named character, and he's actually, I think he was 5 points cheaper, but I think now he's the same cost because Dante came down to 160. Dante's 165 now, so I think they're the same cost. But the Chapter Master I run is just, he eclipses Dante in so many ways, in my opinion. Quite a few people on this channel do not agree with that, but when you look at that, I mean, Dante, I guess, is a little bit more of a force multiplier. But if you just want like a survivable, tough as nails Chapter Master, then the one that I run is insane. And like he's like an auto pick in my list. Like, I do not have any intention to ever replace him as it stands. What do you think of the Terex assault drill? I did a video a little while ago on Firstborn Transports, I believe. Tarek, I think that's how you say your name. And the Terax was one of the, obviously because it is a Firstborn Transport, it's in that video. You could probably just find it by going to the YouTube search bar and type Firstborn Transports Blood Angels Commander, and I imagine that video will come up. And I genuinely liked the Terax. I thought it was one of the most competitive options when you look at Firstborn Transports. So I mean, I can't remember everything off the top of my head right now, but yeah, I mean, go watch that video, and I'm sure that the Terax was one of the models that I liked the most, I think. You're talking about the captain on the bike. Yeah, the captain on the bike with Angel's Artifice, which makes him toughness 6 and 7 wounds, and then gives him the 2+, 4+ invulnerable save. Then you throw Adamantium on Mantle on him as well to give him a 5+ feel no pain. And I mean, if you really wanted to, you could throw a Storm Shield on him as well to give him a 1+ basic armor save. But I actually think he doesn't need that. Toughness 6 and 7 wounds, and then I usually run a Psyker with like Might of Heroes. So if I want, I can make him toughness 7, and like genuinely, that's, you know, compared to toughness 4, it's night and day in terms of survivability, I find. Plus, it makes him amazing for Angel Sacrifice because, like, he can almost tank just about anything. Like, I think Colin flew in like a Flesh Mower that has like 12 strength 6 attacks, -2 damage a shot or something. I just Angel Sacrificed, tanked all the damage, and then next turn healed him up with the Priest. The ship's name is the Sword of Baal. Oh, really? I did not pick up on that, Dave Pikey. Thank you for letting us know. So it's Mephiston's ship, huh? I'm looking forward to that. Maybe we'll do some reaction videos for that on the channel. Sam says, just starting out Blood Angels, I have Indomitus Box, 15 Sangre Yard, 15 Death Company, sorry. 3 Aggressors, 6 Bolt Inceptors, 5 Infiltrators, a Whirlwind, 6 extra Outriders, Primaris, Librarian, Jumplin. Can you help me with a list? That's a good question. Do you know what? We don't often build lists for other people. We usually let them submit their lists, and then we break them down on how effective we think they are. How many points you looking at, Sam? 2,000, is it? CJ says, I just ordered Whirlwind last night after watching your heavy tier list yesterday. I'm pretty excited. Dude, the Whirlwind is so core. You know, recently when Chapter Approved came out and it like changed all the points costs of everything, and like at that point, like everybody was having to drop units and stuff to try and make their lists still work, because for some reason, like Sangre Guard went up in cost and some other attack bites went up in cost. I mean, it's funny that all those units went up in cost, and when like people are doing big tier lists at the moment, Blood Angels are actually quite far down the pecking order. But regardless, when everything went up in cost, the Whirlwind was the one, in my list anyway, like it wasn't even on the table. It was just like, yeah, the Whirlwind has to stay. I mean, the Whirlwind didn't go up in cost, but like there's just absolutely no question in my mind. Like the Whirlwind, 100%, there's no way we're dropping it. It's just a suppression fire. Like, it's such a strong stratagem, and the fact that the board is smaller now, the Whirlwind can literally hide the entire game and just suppression fire anything that you want. The only slight issue with it is sometimes if the enemies have characters that have a lot of screens around them, you might not be able to suppression the character. But I mean, if you use your shooting clever, and you know that that's going to be an issue, and you deal with it, then it becomes a non-issue as well. So yeah, I love my Whirlwind. Yeah, it's strange how core it has become. It's just like, it is one of the strongest choices for the Blood Angels. And I think everybody that's read that stratagem and used it a few times has seen just how strong it is. And it's crazy good against those models like the Nightbringer that can only lose like 3 wounds in a phase. Like, it's absolutely clutch against those. And Gaskell Tharaka, like I used it against, I believe I used it against Gaskell Tharaka and the Nightbringer in different games, obviously, and like both times I just killed their models. Like, I don't know how many points Gaskell Tharaka is actually, but the Nightbringer is like 350 points. Like, I killed the Nightbringer, and I think all the Nightbringer did was maybe like kill 1 Blade Guard veteran. Like, it was just such a good trade, because like when he charged in, I was like, well, I'm gonna fight you first. And yeah, it just means that, like, you're always going to get to do the damage from your troops in the phase that he charges, and against those models it can only take so much damage per phase. Like in the case of the Nightbringers, 3 damage per phase. It's really important that like you do 3 damage to them in their turn, right? Because if you do 3 damage to them in their turn, then if you can do 3 damage in the shooting phase, 3 damage in the close combat phase, you can kill it in a single turn. So by suppression firing the Nightbringer, it meant that when he charged me, I got to fight him first with my Blade Guard veterans. We did the 3 wounds that we needed to, and then I was like, at that point I was quite happy. I was like, well, these Blade Guard veterans, job done, you know. 100 points. And he didn't, I think he had a bad roll, because you don't get invulnerable saves against Nightbringer, so he must have had like a crazy crap wound roll, which doesn't normally happen. So he had a bad wound roll, and then it meant, yeah, I think he killed maybe 1 or 2 Blade Guard veterans. I think I rezzed one the following turn, and then I just shot him at point blank range with like a Redemptor Dreadnought and then crushed it with its fist. And it was like a 350 point model, killed like 30 points of mine. So strong. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, guys, please hit the like button as well. 2K. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best thing actually, is like join the Discord, and there is an army list room. So if you post that, if you post the models you have along with tag me in the Discord, like just do like / no, sorry, not / just do that at command, Blood Angels Commander, because then it gives me like a little notification and it's dead easy for me to find it. So tag me in the Discord. We can throw something together really quick with what you've got. Tony is sanguineous, but yeah, I mean it's awesome. There's so many people here that can help you, probably just as much as I can, to be honest. We got a ton of really knowledgeable players in the Discord, and yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy to have a look and throw something together as well. You know, there's different styles to play your Blood Angels, though. My style is like crazy defensive, and some people play it quite differently from me. So, I mean, you have to decide how you're going to play. And I think I think some of it comes down to it whether or not you want to use the Death Company. Because, like, at the moment, I aren't running Death Company. And I think if you run Death Company, because of the Forlorn Fury ability, you can kind of get a little bit more offensive. Which is no bad thing, right? It's just the way I've played my Blood Angels for a long time, I guess. Hey Anthony, good evening, how you doing? Isn't suppression fire only in your shooting phase, and the fight phase only lasts your turn? No. Tony is sanguineous is the quote, isn't right? Suppression fire, let me pull the rule up in front of me. Just so I've got the text and I'm not giving any bullshit information. Suppression fire. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a whirlwind model from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time that model makes an attack with a weapon that's a blast ability, so basically it's main cannon, and this is why I say take the castle in, because you get 2d6 shots. So 2d6 shots. If a hit is scored for that attack, then until the start of your next turn, the target cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend, and cannot be selected to fight until all eligible units from your army have done so. So you shoot it in your turn, and it lasts until the start of, or you shoot it in your shooting phase, sorry, and it lasts to the start of your next turn. So obviously, if you shoot it at them, then if they charge you, then you get a fight before they're charging units, and that's the reason to take the whirlwind. The damage it does is I keep saying on my stream, like, don't think of the whirlwind as a damage dealer. If you use the whirlwind in a list and it doesn't do very much damage, and you come to the end of the game and you think, whirlwind didn't do very much damage. Yeah, that's fine. That's exactly, it isn't a damage dealer. What you do is you suppression fire anything that you think will charge you in the enemy's turn. And you use it that way, and basically you just mean, like, I was playing a game against Tyranids, And you know what? I've got a Blade Guard veteran here, and I've got some Sanguinary Guard here, right? I literally set up my Blade Guard in like a row of 3. Do you know what? I've got another one here. So I set my Blade Guard up at the front like this. I left a gap between them, just a big enough gap to get the Sanguinary Guard through, and set my Sanguinary Guard up behind them, right, like this, right? My idea was that if the enemy... So the enemy had some giant tyrannid monster, I forget what it's called, it's like a I can't even pronounce it, it's like a D-I-M-A Archon or something, Demarikonin? Let me tell you what it is. It's got a weird name. Thank you for subscribing, Dibs. It's a Forge World model, and it's absolutely disgusting. Demarikon or something? Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting in close combat. It's spelled... do you know what? I can just flick to my other screen. Hold on. Right, it's this. Dimarika Archon or something. Someone will tell me how to pronounce it. Right? But it's absolutely disgusting in close combat. It gets 6 attacks. It's got... Each attack is strength 8. You can reroll all your hits. And it's AP minus 3, D3 plus 3. It also makes an additional attack with its tail, which is also strength 7, minus 3, 2 damage. And then it's got this crazy rule. After this model has made close combat attacks, before it consolidates, select one enemy model with engagement range. That model's player rolls 1d6 and adds their model's strength. If the result is equal or less than this model's strength, that model suffers d6 mortal wounds. So in my case, I would need to roll, like, Sanguinary Guard and Blade Guard, right? Their toughness 4. So I would need to roll a 4+, or I take d6 mortal wounds after it's charged me. And, like, yeah, so that's horrific. Like, so much. So what I did was I set up my unit like this, right? So the idea was, if his big monster charges these guys at the front, they can obviously fight first. Then I can play 1 CP to heroically intervene with my Sanguinary Guard, who can also fight as well. And what it meant was that my opponent, Andrew, had like this giant tyrannid nasty monster that actually sat, like, in that game. In that game, he actually didn't charge me in the entire game, right? Like, his giant melee threat just sat suppressed for the whole game, about 12 inches from the Sanguinary Guard in that. Like, it just hung out. And I was like... I actually started joking with him, like, later in the game. I was like, are you gonna charge me? You know, like, what are you doing with this, you know, giant, expensive model? And it was like, it just didn't have an option. So yeah, in that game, the Whirlwind, I don't know, like, I generally, I mean, it was pretty clever, I think, to put the Sanguinary Guard right behind, so he couldn't charge us, like, there was no chance of him charging the Sanguinary Guard because they're just out of range. And then, if he does charge me and he's suppressed, then I'll have 2 units. They'll be able to fight him and, like, do a lot of damage to him. Because ideally, I would need to kill him before he even gets to attack, because that rule of mortal wounds is kind of horrific, right? Good evening, Baskula. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in over on Twitch. Interested in a challenge where we vote on a unit you already have to put in a list for one game. For instance, we vote and you have to play the game with at least 1 Baal Predator. Maybe in the future. Right now I'm trying to build a tournament list. I got 2 tournaments coming up. And obviously everything has changed a little bit with the points costs. And I think I've only played like 3 games since the points cost change happened. And I'm not sure, because before the points cost had changed, I'd won like 14 games in a row or something, and now I've lost like a game. So I need to figure out what's going on, I think. But I mean, that's a cool idea, right? Wait, the Nightbringer turns off Feel No Pains but not Invulnerables? I think the Nightbringer has... I think the Nightbringer ignores Invulnerables. I think the Whirlwind will stay in the meta, Anthony, until... I think it will stay in the meta until Suppression Fire gets changed. Because I mean, there's no reason to take it out with having suppression fire, I feel like, right? Like it doesn't do any damage. I keep saying that to people. Like, I mean, maybe if you're fighting Sisters of Battle or something, he's got some Battle Sisters off an objective or something. You know, like, yeah, sure, it'll kill some Battle Sisters, but for the most part, it really doesn't do damage to Whirlwind. It's just about the suppression fire. And if you think about it, in that game, I think I actually shot it at that Dimaricon in every turn for the whole game, and I think it did 1 wound to him. So like, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't picked for its damage 100%. It was just picked to suppress a big nasty target and stop it charging. And yeah, that's. I think it will stick around until. I mean, they just made some changes to the fight first, fight last stuff, but I think it's still kind of super confusing. Like, I don't think the changes they made were the best. So, you know, maybe some of that stuff will change again, I guess. I guess we'll find out. But for the moment, for me anyway, the Whirlwind feels very core. And I mean, it can't just sit on a backfield objective and suppress anything anywhere. 72 inches will cover the whole board, right? If you're tucked away in a corner, I think you'll still be able to suppress anything on the entire board now. So, I think it's. I think it's good. Oh, I always miss bits on these guys. God damn it. I love my Death Company. Forlorn Fury is the reason I'm thinking about making my Bike Captain Death Company. I have 2 drops on the troops to fill them with the Death Company. The captain can be waiting when they land. You know, I ran... my win streak is over, Gitley. It's over. Goonhammer's Metal Analysis is Blood Angels down from a 40% win rate to a 20% win rate within the last month. And then they made our points worse. Each time this model makes a melee attack that is allocated to an enemy model, that enemy model cannot use... Oh, it's Feel No Pains? I thought it was Invulnerable Saves. Is it the Silent King that does Invulnerable Saves then? I must be confused. In that game... I was sure the Nightbringer had a way to ignore Invulnerable Saves. But, you know, I could be wrong. Hey Benjamin, how you doing? Oh yeah, it does. It does have an ability that makes it ignore invulnerable saves. Yeah, Gitley, I was thinking a little bit about your question about Eradicators and their tier in the tier list this week, and do you know what? I've made a bunch of slides for a video that was going to probably come out next week, which was Land Speeders versus Invader ATVs, but also had a bit of attack bike stuff mixed in there as well, because obviously attack bikes are doing very good damage and they're very mobile as well, right? So I was thinking about Eradicators. I thought I might add an extra little bit in there, like an extra slide or an extra little bit of information on the slides where we do all the damage, to add the comparison to some Eradicators, because obviously I think we put Eradicators down as a B tier, and like some people, I think you and one other person thought it was harsh, but I mean I ran Eradicators 3 times and I don't think they don't synergize as well with the chapter master that I run, I guess. My chapter master's on a bike, so he is very, very fast. So having my multi-meltas on bikes synergizes really nicely. So maybe the synergy isn't as, you know, like for me playing it, maybe the synergy just didn't feel as good with the Eradicators versus the attack bikes. But I do think if you work it out, because Eradicators are going to be 45 points per model, So basically, like, what do you get for being an attack bike? You pay 15 points more, right? And what do you get? Well, you get to move 12 inches and fire with no penalty. You get to advance 6 inches if you need it with turbo boost. You get an additional wound, and then you always get to fire 2 shots as opposed to Eradicators only getting to fire once if you advance them. And you also get the four bolter shots as well. So I think, like, if you think about that, like 15 points for that, it actually sounds like quite a lot, because normally when you look at like models or like characters or sometimes even squads, usually if the model has 1 more wound, they usually charge you about 10 more points for that, right? So if you assume that the 1 more wound costs you the 10 points, then what are you getting for the 5 points? Well, for the 5 points, you're getting 12-inch move, four bolter shots, and no minus to hit if you do that 12-inch move, and that's actually a lot for 5 points. So I think even though attack bikes went up in points, I actually still think when you think about them like that compared to Eradicators, they are quite a bit better, I think. And you know, like as I said, I ran Eradicators 3 times, I think, and I didn't think they were bad. Like, I really genuinely didn't think they were bad, but like, I guess I've been running the list that I had that won like 12 games in a row had the attack bikes, and I think because I have the chapter master and the bike, and I have those really mobile multi-meltas flying around, being able to be revived by the Sanguinary Priest, I guess like I just find a lot of value in that. Did I miss a question? What's 290 points? Oh, dropping in the Death Company. Yeah, do you know what? I was going to say that as well. So I did run a Death Company captain on a bike. I ran him with the Teeth of Terra, and I think I ran him with Imperium Sword, right? So you can reroll charges, and you get the +1 strength, which made the Teeth of Terra strength 6. So it was very much like an infantry killer, because you would get like 10 attack space or maybe even 11 attack space with Imperium Sword. I forget, because it's 4 attacks and then 5 for being the Black Rage, 6 for charging, 7 for Savage Echoes, +3 for the Teeth of Terra, plus another one for Imperial Assault. So yeah, it was, sorry, what's it? Imperial Assault? No, that's a Star Wars game. Imperium Sword, sorry. So yeah, so it was 11 attacks he would get base, and then one time I used Death Visions when there was a shitload of Sisters of Battle around me, so I actually got 15 attacks in a turn. Hey Eric, thank you so much for becoming a member. That didn't pop up in my... Oh, it didn't pop up because you're not a new member, you just renewed for month 2. Thank you so much for that, Eric, appreciate it. Good evening, Highland, how you doing, man? So yeah, I ran the Death Company captain with the Teeth of Terra and the... What else did I have him with? A Storm Shield. So like, I thought he was going to be really survivable, right? But I guess because I don't run any Death Company models, I guess he kind of ended up being exposed a few times too far forward. So I liked him, but I guess the thing I didn't like just was that he didn't quite fit my style. But like, Death Visions are okay. I wouldn't say they're amazing. Like, they feel very situational, and I think the only Death Vision that really put any real weight on is on the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit, right? I think the other Death Visions are even I wouldn't say worse, but like, I just don't see how you use those other Death Visions really effectively at all. So yeah, it's I guess it's kind of interesting. I guess if you're going to run 2 pods full of Death Company, then I could see the advantage for sure of running a Death Company captain. But I just, in my lists anyway, I just found a lot more value in the Chapter Master. And for me, you know, the 6+ Feel No Pain never, like, I never seem to do well when I have a 6+ Feel No Pain. If I have a 5+ Feel No Pain, I seem to do okay on my dice rolls, but 6+ Feel No Pain, either 6+ Feel No Pain is too unreliable, or I just roll badly when I have a 6+ Feel No Pain. Good evening, Brent. How you doing? You think Eliminators are at least 8? Eradicators are at least A tier. I think at 40 points per model, they were like A or S tier. I mean, they are still Gravis. I mean, I think we had them at high B, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe if you're running a captain with heroic bearing, then you could say that they're A tier, right? Because you've got that nice, huge, big reroll bubble. But you know, if you're trying to review them in a vacuum, so on my list, I'm not running heroic bearing, so there's a very good chance they'll not be in range of the reroll ones. And then yeah, so at that point, I think high B. Maybe they could have been low A, but yeah. I do genuinely think that the 15 points per model for attack bikes, if you can find it, I would try and find it. But yeah, you know what? 100% actually. When I share the video next week, you'll see that I believe point for point attack bikes will still outdamage land speeders and invader ATVs, and probably I think point for point, I'd be surprised if they didn't outdamage eradicators as well, and then point for point, they're probably going to be a little bit more survivable. The only real advantage I guess you have is your eradicators can transhuman, I guess, whereas the bikes obviously don't have that because they're not Primaris. I mean, Gitley made a good point that they do still have a 36-inch threat range, right? If you roll your 6 for your advance, you can still hit with 36-inch. If you know, you can move 5, you can advance 7, you can shoot your multi-meltas. So you still have a decent threat range. Like, that's not bad, but I mean, it requires a good advance roll, and yeah, I just think attack bikes are a little bit more reliable. But I mean, each to their own. You know, if you really like eradicators, then don't let me stop you using them. I always say that, right? Like, I just give you my opinion. I don't ever say my opinion is the only right opinion. In fact, probably in some cases, my opinion is definitely not the right opinion. But you know, I just say what I see on the tabletop, I guess. These are the last of the batch of Sanguinary Guard Stoppinator. I finished painting 4 of them this morning. Actually, all I have to repaint the eyes. I haven't finished the eyes, and then maybe touch up a little bit around the eyes. But I'm just at a point where, like, I'm doing the last few gems, and I'm doing a last wash. Like, I'm giving them an all-over wash of Reichland Flesh Shade, because I really like how that makes them sort of like this reddish gold. And then hopefully, I haven't checked the humidity tomorrow because I always check the humidity before I varnish models, but I'm really hoping there can be a period of low humidity tomorrow and we get these guys varnished, because that's another 8. And they might not be perfect, but I'm pretty happy with how they've... Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time on these guys, probably more time than I needed to. But no, I'm pretty happy with them. Is there any way Blood Angels can advance and charge? Not that I'm aware of. The only Blood Angels model that could kind of do that is there's a special suit of Terminator armor that the Flesh Tearers get that lets the wearer... He actually gets to move 1 extra inch in Terminator armor. He gets to advance and charge. So I guess if you were doing a Flesh Tearer list, then yes, there's one model that can do it, but like regular Blood Angels models, no. We did talk about using Upon Wings of Fire to get like smaller charges when arriving from Deep Strike, but you need to have lost a dead model, or you could use a teleport homer to do that. You need to have a dead model, and you also need to have a Sanguinary Priest nearby to res. But no, advance and charge is not something we can do. 40, or did I say 40? I meant 4. I'm doing the final 4 right now. And then I'm going to put some transfers on these. Put some transfers on these Blade Guard that I finished today as well. So I was showing these guys at the start of the stream. I got some finished Blade Guard. and then I only have a little bit more to paint for this tournament list, but I kind of want to do a squad of eliminators. You know that? You guys have, I think it was Reziel or Steel Rain, one of you guys has been talking about eliminators, and I have some eliminators, but I really want the captain with the Instigator bolt rifle, and I want to, or Instigator bolt carbine I think it might be. I just put a bit of Reichland flesh shade on this white. Isn't that the most annoying thing ever, when you think you're almost done and then you go and screw up a colour? It would have to be the white that it streaks onto as well, wouldn't it? Bloody painting white, man. These wings, they're the bane of my life. Because it's red over white, it feels like it's going to need 2 coats again just to get it back to where it was. I'm just going to dump on quite a bit of paint here, nice and thick. So much for one thin coat, where at the end of the project I'm like, sure, just slap it on. Alright, is this guy good? I think he's good. Yeah, I think we're calling this guy done. Alright, 2 left. And then we'll figure out something else. Do you want to become famous? On Twitch? No, I'm good. Thank you very much for coming in, you bot. Mine have not been slow in any way. Turn 1, you can easily run them and just take 3 shots that turn. They have a 30 range of 36 inches with the size of the board they're on. We are fine. I mean, that's a good point, I suppose. I'll see, Gitly. I might end up going back to like 3 Eradicators. I mean, I ran them in 2 or 3 games, and I don't know, I just love the attack bikes, I think. The great thing about the attack bikes, I think, is just they can reposition, and then they can position into half range so easily. How many do you have now, Sangre Guard? I think I might have 20 finished. I actually don't think I've got any Sangre Guard unfinished. Yeah, I might have 20, but I think in that I've got 2 Sangre Ancients, I guess. So probably like 16 or 18 without the banners. I'm not running Sangre Ancients right now, though. I kind of gone off them. I think the main appeal for the Sangre Ancient for me was the Standard of Sacrifice, and they took that away from us. Do you know how good it would be if we got a supplement where we got the Standard of Sacrifice back? That would be... no hot tub stream for you, John. Unfortunately not. I mean, if I had a hot tub, maybe we could be in it, but no, I don't. Fortunately, I don't own a hot tub. But do you know what? I do have a new camera. I hope this camera looks better than the camera that I had before. It should be quite a bit more detailed. I mean, oh yeah, the focus. The thing about this camera is it's like a manual focus. So, like, I can turn the focus. I think will it put me out of focus or what? So apparently it's not a manual focus. I'm just learning this camera. Holy shit! This thing on the right of me is a nightmare, though. I'm gonna have to move my whole setup. Yeah, like this. See, like I think it is. Like, it's weird that it doesn't focus in on that. Yeah, I am learning this camera. I filmed like 2 or 3 videos on it, and I mean the videos I've done on it have looked nice, but yeah, I think I've got a lot to learn. I mean, honestly, before I bought the camera, I didn't even know what the word aperture meant. So it's like you start reading, and yeah, the new camera. The manual is 500 pages. I shit you not. I was like, oh my god, like the current camera that I had before, you just put it on and you press record. This camera, 500 pages, and I was like, I have a baby and a YouTube channel and a day job. When the hell do I have time to read a 500 page manual? Good evening, Red Green. We are painting Sangre Guard tonight. That's what we're doing. We're just taking a break between models, I guess. It's actually really warm here as well, so I was just turning my fan on. Gonna go get some work done, CJ. Good evening, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad that the videos that I make are helpful for you. I really appreciate all the nice comments you guys give me. You have no idea. Some of those in lockdown this year, I'm not going to lie, lockdown's been a bitch for everyone, I'm sure, but for me, I've definitely not handled it that well at times. So sometimes the nice comments you guys have given me, honestly, have really, they've made like a shitty day okay or bearable or something, you know. So I really appreciate the nice words you guys give me now and then. I guess it is what it is this year. Bloody COVID. When will it be over? We could pivot. We could go through the manual. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, honestly. When you get like a new tech product, and what's even worse is they don't give you the manual in paper. It's just like a little URL, which is like, you can get the manual here, and it's like a 500-page PDF. And I was like, oh my god, I hate having to read stuff like that online. Like, if you're gonna have a 500-page manual, at least give me a bloody copy of it, so that I don't have to be sat at the computer to read it. I could read it when my daughter's sleeping on my lap or something, because that's a little bit of time I get each week when my daughter's fast asleep. We took her for a walk this morning, so she's gonna nap for an hour or 2 hours in the afternoon. So like, that's the time I could read the manual. No, but I can't because it's a damn PDF, and I just hate reading stuff like that. I much prefer books. I'm 47 degrees Celsius. Where the hell are you? Vegas. Wow. Okay. 47 degrees. Here's me complaining it's like 25, man. I don't even think I could take off any more clothes. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt. It's too warm. Yeah, I am complaining it's too warm. Don't worry, it's Scotland. It'll be cold before long. We literally get about 3 months of summer in Scotland. So, my birthday is at the end of September, and usually by the time my birthday is rolls around, the weather's, it's like there's like one good weekend maybe if we're lucky after my birthday, and then we're pretty much straight into winter. Like, Scotland is just cold, man. I'm be so happy fielding fully painted Sangre Guard though for you guys, because for like probably like 2 months on the channel, maybe even 3 months, ever since I made the switch from like power fists and stuff to swords, I've been fielding a lot of half painted Sangre Guards. So it's going to be so nice to field ones that I would say are fully painted and actually varnished and decent and ready to kick ass. There's that whole thing that when they're painted you get better dice rolls as well, so I'll have that on my side. Are we going back to a regular stream schedule? Yeah, we are. We'll be back live on Monday for Battle as normal, and we'll be live tomorrow as normal for the Army List show, Gitley. Yeah, so it should be more normal for about a month. I'm actually out of town a little bit again at the beginning of August, but yeah, next week should be normal. I'm trying to think what's happening on Thursday night this week. I think I'll probably just stream like another painting session on Thursday night. Yeah. But yeah, I've got a couple of videos that I filmed last week, and I've got one video I need to film probably either Sunday night or Tuesday night for this week. So yeah, there's definitely tactics videos coming up. Like I said, it's going to include, we're basically going to be looking at like a lot of multi-melta based units, right, and trying to work out like point for point what the best options are. And you know what, once we actually see that, I guess we can go back and we can decide if we think the tier list selections were right, But yeah, I've been using the Thursday night, so I haven't streamed on Thursday night now for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And that's when I've been hanging out with Tony and Mark filming those tier lists. So Hey Red Green, thanks for subscribing. Hey Exo, it's been a while. How you doing, man? But yeah, no, appreciate the subs. We are really growing a pretty awesome community of Blood Angels players. We have almost 1,000 people in the Facebook group now, and I don't know how many people we've got in Discord, but Discord is getting like every day it feels like there's like 5 new members in Discord. So there is a lot of people hanging out in the Discord we've got going now. Did you see Art of War rated Blood Angels in middle tier C? I mean, I do know that we got rated lowly, or lowly? Is that a word? I do know that we got rated badly, I guess. And how do I feel about that? I mean, to be 100% honest with you, I felt like, you know, when Chapter Approved came out, I honestly felt like we were going to have like an additional, I was hoping for additional 40 points to add to my list. Like, I thought our units would get made about 40 points cheaper. I don't know where I thought they might save a few points, but I definitely thought, like, yeah, we're probably not the most competitive, so maybe we'll get 40 points or so more. And I was thinking to myself before Chapter Approved came out, if we do get 40 points, what would I add? Like, and I was like, maybe I'll add like 2 company veterans. And I was thinking, like, that would be brilliant if we could just get like 40 points, add in 2 company veterans. It gives me 1 more unit to do actions and gives me a little bit more, like, if I want to do like engage on all fronts or anything. And I was like, yeah, we'll probably get like 40 points more to play with. And then the Chapter Approved book came out, and my list went up 61 points, and I honestly thought it was going to go the other way. So Art of War saying that we are low down, like, they're probably right. I mean, we're not in the greatest place. Like I said, like we were all very excited about getting our codex first, but I think that just meant that like our codex wasn't really as fleshed out as the other 9th edition codexes, and we aren't that strong. So I guess possibly what will need to happen, I mean, if we're to be useful or we want to be strong again, is, you know, similar to how we got the Psychic Awakening book, where like I think before the Psychic Awakening book we were pretty weak as well, right? And then in the Psychic Awakening book in 8th edition, that was when we got Savage Echoes, and that instantly took us from like a pretty poor army to like, wow, okay, Blood Angels are pretty good again, because you get that extra attack and extra point. 481 members in the Discord. Yeah, wow, okay. So yeah, I think we're gonna need something like that, you know. I don't remember when that book came out if I was feeling the same way, like if I was like, oh my god, we really need something to make us strong again. But I feel like when that book came out, I definitely feel like we went from like a mid-tier army to almost like an A-tier army overnight, just because of the one Savage Echoes rule. But yeah, I mean, where we are right now, I feel like it's not ideal. I mean, if you think about our faction-specific units and our named characters, like I'm running 0 of our named characters. I haven't run any of our named characters in probably like, I'm trying to think, like since the very beginning of 9th. And I want to say most people here are also not running the named characters. Some people are running Dante. Some people have been loyal to Dante, and you know, more power to them if they think they can still run Dante and he works for them. For me, against the armies I play against, Dante dies way too quick. The main 2 armies I'm going to be up against are Sisters of Battle and Death Guard, and they have both very easy ways to remove Dante in a single turn. And yeah, so some people have been loyal to Dante, and like I said, more power to them, but it's not for me. And you know, I'm not running regular Death Company. Even the Death Company with jump packs, we're not running them because we feel like Vanguard veterans just do the same and are a little bit more survivable. And what else have we got that's like, you know, Death Company Dreads, for whatever reason, the Death Company Dread, the Furioso Dread and Librarian Dread lost 2 inches of movement. The Death Company Dread isn't core. I mean, there's a lot of questionable stuff. Yeah, I would say Necrons are suffering pretty bad. Yeah, there's a lot of questionable things right now in terms of Blood Angels. So I don't know if I was going to place them, I probably wouldn't have placed them low C. Low C. Like, I'd have probably gone maybe low B or high C. Like, I think you can still win games with Blood Angels. I mean, I do. But obviously I use a lot of Space Marine units. Like, I don't use too many Blood Angel specific stuff. And I think the Space Marine stuff is good enough for us if you use it smart, I guess. But it does feel like right now, you know, when we did... So obviously Tony, myself and Mark have been doing these tier list videos. And it does feel like when we're doing the tier list videos, we're very limited in what's getting put into the A and the S tier, right? You know? It's like there is one really good pick here, and this is the pick you should take, and everything else is just not that competitive. And I don't actually think that's healthy for the game, and I don't necessarily know if that's that fun, because it's just like, if you want to be super competitive, you have to take this one subset of units. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I stand on that. Long question, or long answer to short question. Good evening, Dolph. How you doing, man? Not seen you for a little while. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. I think last time we talked, Dolph, you were finishing up some exams, right? How are you getting on with those? You all done now, or? You see this character in Dawn of War. There are some interesting, like, I know you can do like Red Scorpions, and I guess you could do some sort of custom homebrew / successor chapter. So there is interesting things you can do, you know. If you didn't want to necessarily be running a Blood Angel list right now, you could have some sort of successor. But yeah, I'm still running Blood Angels, and I enjoy them. I still think they're decent, but yeah, I think we need a buff. I don't exactly know what the buff is, but I think a good situation might be some sort of buff for jump units. You know, like all jump units in the Blood Angels army get something. -1 to hit, for example, or +1 to attacks, or like I think something that makes all of our jump units a little bit stronger, and then maybe that brings us back into like pretty good place. Good evening, AR. Thanks for becoming a member for the 4th month in a row. Much appreciated, man. We're all loyal to Dante, we just don't play him due to Games Workshop's terrible rules for him. Yeah, I mean, Dante is probably one of the characters that started me on my Blood Angels journey, so it's just a little bit sad that like I don't feel that I can really include him without giving myself a bit of a disadvantage. Just the meta that I play in, they can kill Dante very, 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 very easily. Blood Angels have always been a Codex compliant chapter. Only Death Company was original ad hoc. Yeah, I mean, we've always been pretty close to Codex compliant, right? Maybe they're holding out for the return of Sanguinius. I mean, I think that's what probably... When I did that poll a few weeks ago about Dante, I think that's where everybody is hoping that we get something big. And maybe the guys at Games Workshop will take a little bit of notice. I do wonder if the folk at Games Workshop play the game enough, though, right? Like I don't see how they could have nerfed us as much as they nerfed us and not realize like we were already struggling a little bit. Like I wasn't 100% sure why. Like, I know Sangorigard are very good, but like I don't think the 2 points per model is necessarily like. There's too much -1 damage stuff right now. Like, I don't think running big, massive squads of Sanguinary Guard, and Sanguinary Guard don't survive, you know? There's so much Melta firepower on the board. At 32 points per model, you can quite happily shoot away Sanguinary Guard with your multi-meltas, you know? Every hit is basically a save on a 6, which is pretty much a dead model, right? So, like, I've got... If I was fighting a Blood Angels player, I'd be quite happy, I think, to shoot multi-meltas into the Sanguinary Guard if I know that every fail is a 32-point model off the board. It's quite expensive. You know, especially with the sisters and their really cheap Retributor squads that I fight up against. Like, I would 100% shoot Sanguinary Guard off the board because I know they can do a lot of work. So yeah, it's an interesting situation we find ourselves in, right? Too many things seem like a good place. Maybe they should go back to moving units to other force organization slots. I think they just... Yeah, I could be wrong here. I think they just need to do some more faction-specific stuff, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be faction-specific units. It could just be that, you know, something like while part of a Blood Angels force, this unit gets a bonus or something. So, like, the same units that are in all the Space Marine books or whatever, but like a bonus... I think a bonus to jump units, I think would be a good way to do it. Or a bonus to close combat units or something, you know? Based on... But yeah, it does feel like we are a little bit hampered at the moment. Buff could be a detachment, like, yeah, I mean, you could do, yeah, that might be a way to do it. Detachment buff. Giving jump units reroll charges when coming in reserves would be pretty thematic. I like that, Highland. I like that a lot, actually. Don't know if they would give us that, but that does sound like a way that would be an easy fix, right? Like, that's such a small change, but like, yeah, if all of our jump units could just reroll charges on the turn they arrive in, or just get like an additional +1 to the, if they think that's too strong, you know, like, so when you arrive from Deep Strike, you just get like a much easier charge. That would be dope, actually. Would that help us? Yeah, I think that'd be huge. Especially with upon Wings of Fire, right? You just Wings of Fire some units around and just boom, there you're in. That would be super dope. I forgot to put any paint into the grill of the other two already did, so I'm just going to throw some in there. Spearhead that can take jump pack units could be really fun. Return CP and maybe Wrath of Baal for free. Here's a question. What was you guys' opinion on the Standard of Sacrifice, right? Because I loved the Standard of Sacrifice. Like, it was one of my go-tos. I think I almost put it into just about every list I ever made. I thought it was super strong, and I was super sad when they... Honestly, I was so sad when they took it away. Does the Standard of Sacrifice, does that help us, or do you guys don't think it's strong enough? Space Wolves can actually bring an 80 jump pack army better than us. Yeah, I mean, Space Wolves they're not in too bad state. I think... I'm sure they'll fix it. It's just a case of when. Because we are apparently the most popular Space Marine chapter now, in terms of like model sales and how many people have the chapter. Apparently Blood Angels is the most popular one now. We weren't for a little while. I mean, for a long while I suppose it was Ultramarines, but now it's us. reroll charges is not much, so right. Like, you need to drop down with more than one unit for it to matter much. Yeah, that's very true, I suppose. White Scars also do jump packs better than us. Yeah, I mean, White Scars fall back and charge is pretty strong as well, right? So yeah, it's a tough one. They're gonna have to think long and hard about how they buff us. I mean, the other option, I suppose, would be to make all our faction-specific units better again. And I mean, I for one would definitely like to see our factions. Like, who wouldn't like to see our faction-specific units stronger? So that is something that you could do. Jump back units do mortals on the turn they arrive from Deep Strike would be dope. I mean, you can do mortals with Hammer of Wrath, but like it's not super reliable, is it? And also it doesn't work against like high toughness enemies. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you look at like Morgan Val, the Sisters of Battle character that just got made or appeared or whatever you want to call it, her Chapter Master rerolls let you reroll hits and wounds, which is nuts, right? Like hits and wounds? I said to Andrew, or maybe it's hits and wounds of one, or is it hits and wounds? Because he was using it and I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. Hits and wounds is like, let me check. Yeah, it's yeah, this is like, this shit is just overpowered. In your command phase, select a core sisters unit or core character within 6 until the command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll a hit and you can reroll the wound roll. Like, what is that? Like, they've like have you ever heard this say like? It's an old phrase, right? And I think it's been used in a movie or it was used in a song. And the phrase was, let me remember this phrase. The phrase was, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I'm sure, I mean, I'm remembering this phrase from like, it must have been an obscure movie or a TV show or something that I've seen. Maybe even it came from friggin' Red Dwarf, or some Monty Python or something, you know. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, right? And I wanted to make a meme that was like, I think it's something like, in the land of new codexes, or the land of power creep, the newest codex is king. You know, like that's what it feels like. Like every new codex is just gonna have shit that's like so much more powerful than the last one, and I don't know why they need to do that. It's a Christian phrase, okay? Yeah, so maybe I read it in the Bible many years ago. I haven't read the Bible in a long time, but yeah, maybe. And yeah, that's just what it made me feel like. In the land of the new codex, or the land of the power creep, the new codex is king, basically. And I get that they make the new codexes strong because they want to sell the new models, but like, surely someone's like, hold on a minute. Hits and wound rerolls? I mean, like, you may as well not roll the dice at that point, you know? Because it's just like, oh, well, you're just going to hit and wound. It's ridiculous. They do it to sell the newest shit. Yeah, I know they do that, and I mean, they're a business. They want to sell stuff. I get it, but like, it could still be strong without being stupid. I feel like, and like, yeah. Hey Duke, thanks for subscribing, brother. How you doing? But yeah, I mean, I've fought that sister's character a few times now, and I'm trying to think. I think did I just fight her twice? Yeah, I think I only fought her twice. Won once, lost once. So we're gonna have to do better next time. Like, I don't want to lose to her again, but like, wow. I don't know what they were thinking with some of these new books. Like, these new books are so much more powerful than the older books. Like, they're not even on the same level. I guess that's why Art of War said that we're a C, right? Because, like, we got nothing like that. You know, normally if you want to do hits and wounds, you need to take a second. You need to take a lieutenant, use the second HQ slot. And even then, you only get to reroll wounds on ones. So this way, you can just reroll all your hits and wounds. It's nuts. That combined with in that sisters list, he can have retributors that can move and advance and shoot multi-meltas with no penalty. So he's got retributors that can do a 12-inch move and then shoot their multi-meltas, and because he's got the cherubs ×2, you're looking at, like, I think it's 12 multi-melta shots. So an infantry squad that's like 100 points, 150, I think they're 140 points maybe, 12-inch move, and then shoot all the multi-meltas with no penalty. Yeah, I mean, it's just strong. But you know what? What comes around goes around. I mean, yeah, we're in a bad state right now, but who knows? We won't always be in a bad state, right? Things will happen, and yeah, don't get. Yeah, I really don't know as well why they felt the need to remove some of our best relics and our stratagems, because it feels like all these other chapters got, you know, like Upon Wings of Fire got nerfed a little bit, which is maybe fair enough, but like, it doesn't feel too much like these other chapters took too many nerfs, does it? Or other armies rather. Yeah. Next time I fight the Sisters of Battle, though, that Morgenval surrounded by 20 Celestians is like, it's, you know, I believe, it's 20 Celestians and a Canoness with a Fight Last ability. Like, that's a crazy castle to get into for a melee army. Like, it's just so hard. I think Brett played against it with his World Eaters this week, and he got beaten. And he said the same thing. He's just like, that castle is like unchargeable. He's like, you just can't fight into it. And it's like, well, with World Eaters, if you can't charge an enemy, you've got a big problem, because that's what they do, right? Yeah, it does really feel like our codex is really a copy and paste. I think you're right. It was very much a copy and paste of 8th edition, but with some of the best things removed for, I guess, no apparent real reason. The Dante thing as well. I mean, I like that they made him better, but like, I don't know. It just wasn't enough for me. Dante, the oldest living space marine, the greatest commander, blah 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 blah, and you get +1 CP, and once per game he can do an epic stratagem, and I believe the epic stratagem is a bit lackluster for his epic stratagem. Hey Carlos, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the channel, and appreciate the support, brother. Really do. We always. Yeah, I'm blown away by how many of you guys support on here, so thank you so much for that. If you link your YouTube account to your Discord account, and you can do that pretty easily in like your settings panel in your Discord, then it means you get access to our members only channel over on Discord. And I mean, I do chat in the I do generally chat in the other channels as well, but like, if you want me quickly, then I probably spend most of my time actually in the members only channel, just because like, you guys, you know, without the members, the channel well, I wouldn't have this new camera for one. So you guys are very much appreciated. So yeah, please link up your Discord to your YouTube, or please link your YouTube to your Discord. Come hang out, and yeah, as a member, I mean, even as a non-member, I take video requests or you know, anything you want to see. I actually have quite a big list of videos planned for probably the next 3 months or something, because, you know, if people ask me like, hey, I really want to see a video of Land Raiders, sorry, I keep saying Land Raiders tonight, Land Speeders versus ATVs, and I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll add it to the list. So if there's ever a video that you need, or some Math Hammer you want done or anything like that, you know, just hit me up. I probably can't always deliver it like super quickly, but you know, I get there in the end with a little bit of help from my friends, I guess. You know what? Highland Phoenix was asking me for ages to do a video on Discord on Inquisitors, and I'd promised him a few times that I'd made it, or I would make it, and I hadn't quite got round to it. But it was on my list, and then Highland actually sent me like a couple of slides with like some interesting information on the Inquisitors, and I was like, alright, damn you. I was planning on doing this, but these slides have made things a lot easier, so I just get cracked on and do it. I don't know if you were here, Highland. I've bought an Inquisitor since you made me make that video. And you'll promise to get to Discord soon? Yes, you need to get to Discord soon, Highland. Every single time we do a live stream, someone says, Highland Phoenix, why are you not in Discord? And you always say that you're on it, or you're going to get on it. It's literally an app you download on your phone. It takes 5 minutes, man. And you probably quite enjoy being in the Discord, because, you know, get your Blood Angels fixed 24/7, you know? I always like chatting in Discord after the live games on a Monday night as well, because like when I finish the games on Mondays, the live games, we try and you know, we try and talk a little bit tactics and stuff, and then like usually in Discord people will be like, John, you forgot to do this again, or people will correct me, or it's generally, Discord's great, man. You know what? I'll stop telling you to get on Discord, and one day you will surprise us all when you get on Discord, and it'll be great. And you'll never look back, and you'll think, why the hell did I not have Discord before? There's a way to shut off the notifications if it isn't open. Yeah, you can have the notifications on or off, and you can notify on just individual channels and stuff like that as well. Dante is the oldest living Space Marine, Carlos, yeah. And he's just very lackluster. Yeah, I really think, I don't know if you guys have been reading the books about Dante in the Darkness of the Blood book, but like, in the Darkness of the Blood book, Dante legitimately wanted to go through the Rubicon Primaris, and they wouldn't let him, basically, because they're worried about like what will happen to the chapter. But correct me if I'm wrong, Dante has wounds in that book now that aren't healing, right? Like, because he was wounded in battle, I think at the Devastation of Baal, and he literally says like his wounds aren't healing anymore. So like he's on limited time, I guess. So at some point he's gonna have to do the Primaris, the Rubicon Primaris anyway, or he's gonna die. And I mean, I imagine, how many years is it between books? Like, it seems to be about 2 years between each of these Dante books, so they are progressing that story. So at some point in the near future, Dante either dies or undergoes the Rubicon. And I think, like, if they're in touch with the player base at all, they know that the player base want him to continue. They love Dante, so make him undergo the Rubicon. And, you know, I put a post up a few weeks about that. I'm going to make a video about that. I'll make a video. Here's the thing, right? This is what we'll do. We'll make a video on the community poll that had 800 views. I still want to know how Ralladorn died. Yeah, I don't know how Ralladorn died. And there was another guy as well. I forget his name now. Let me think. Who was the first Sanguinary Guard again? Oh, what's his name? It's going to come to me. Someone in the chat will know. The first Sanguinary Guard... Or he was the only Sanguinary Guard that survived at the end of the Horus Heresy, because there was one left, right? Someone in chat will know. Yeah, I can never say that name right, but you've got it there. Azkalion, I guess. Azkalion? Something like that. Like, I don't know if we ever got, like, there was a rumor for a little while that he was the Sanguinor, and then I think that got crushed, so we don't really know what happened to him either, if I'm correct. Just looking through my box of rescued Blood Angels, most of them caked in paint, to find out what was just an old chaplain discovered the old metal Lamartes without the jump pack. I have that old metal one. You know, if they're caked in paint, you can get rid of it with, like, you know, just like a old toothbrush, and like you can get some easy to use paint stripper, and if you can't get the paint stripper, you can honestly use like Dettol or something, and that'll get rid of the old. Has Dante been around from the start? As in the start of the Blood Angels? No, Dante is the 4th chapter master, if I remember correctly. But he's been chapter master. No, it must be more than 4. Is it? Or maybe it is 4. He's been around for thousands of years at this point. He is supposedly the oldest living Space Marine as it currently stands in the lore. And yeah, he's been chapter master for like 1500 years or something. It's supposed to be a bit crazy how long he's been chapter master. And that's why whenever he keeps his helmet on a lot now in the lore, because when he takes his helmet off, like, he's really old and people don't realize just how old he is. And yeah, and his model came out in 1992. Yeah, his model's been out since like 2nd edition, and it was metal for a while, and now it's fine cast, but I missed a couple of gems on this guy as well. I'm really bad at missing these gems on these characters as I go. I don't know why I'm so bad at missing them. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose a Dreadnought doesn't count, though, because is a Dreadnought living? I don't know if a Dreadnought counts. Is it living? I'm sure it says in the Codex that he's the oldest living Marine or something like that. I mean, yeah, I think they have to refresh Dante, and hopefully, like, I don't see why that would not be, like, they're refreshing, you know, they refreshed a bunch of Ultramarine characters, didn't they? So, like, why not refresh some of the Blood Angels characters, especially now that none of them are getting taken, and whoever did the rules for 9th edition, like, they failed big time. Like, they just aren't that attractive. How would you feel about Dante Dreadnought, an entirely new chapter master? I much prefer the idea of him going through the... Because, well, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with him as a Dreadnought if they don't fuck up the rules. Like, but all 3 of our chapter specific Dreadnoughts got fucked in 9th edition. Like, why did they all lose 2 inches of movement? So I don't want them to become a Dreadnought because I don't trust them to not ruin the rules for him. But that's maybe the wrong... Maybe I'm... So I think I'm saying I much prefer the idea of him going Primaris. I much prefer the idea of him going Primaris as long as they don't do the same shit that Mephiston did. And if they just give him +1 attack and +1 wound like Mephiston, then I'll be crazy disappointed, and I still won't run him. Like, I don't think that... I don't even think that gets him close to what he needs to be competitive. So yeah, it's a very tricky situation they have, but I think in the lore he's gonna have to undergo the Rubicon, or so he dies and goes in a Dreadnought, or he he passes the Rubicon and comes back revitalized, revigorated, whatever you want to call it. But like, I really hope that they do that, and give us like a chapter master that's really like, he doesn't need to be an auto include, but like it should be something where we think about it. We're like, you know, we can build our homebrew chapter master on the bike who we know is really strong, but we would be like, but Dante can do this, you know? Whereas like, I just don't think you get that at the moment. Veteran Sergeant Cluton technically was, as he was Dante's scout sergeant, not seen his death in the new fluff, so where is he? Why is the name Cluton ringing a bell? Was he in one of the books and I'm just not? Or was he a character? Was he in an older edition and they removed him? Because they did that with the Dreadnought, didn't they? Because we used to have a named Dreadnought warrior or something, and they removed the name Dreadnought, right? It'll be the ultimate slap in the face for Dante to just die. Yeah, I don't think they'll kill him. Like, but I think like the model needs a refresh anyway. So, but like, go one step further with the refresh. Like, give us a chapter master we deserve. Make him on par with Gilliman in terms of like rules and stuff. You know, like make him like he was really reborn, you know? My money is Dante dies crossing the Rubicon, but the spirits. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the theory that people want to see, is that he dies, and you know, he crosses the Rubicon into something happens during the Rubicon, and they have to save him, and you know. That was the poll that I had up on the channel anyway, that got like quite a lot of engagement, like 800 votes I think, and like it was like 80% of Blood Angels players wanted like an improved large Dante character. We'll make that video, right, and then what we'll do is when that video is made, you guys can all, every single one of you can try and share it onto the Games Workshop, and then maybe they'd actually listen to us. Get your second edition codex out. He's in there with Shroud of Sanguinius. What, you mean this second edition codex that I have literally right here? Right here. You posted your Dante kit bash on Discord. Alright, we'll check it out. What am I reading? What am I looking? Second edition codex? Did Dante have any other rules that he doesn't have in second edition? He caused terror in second edition. The Death Mask of Sanguinius. The wearer of this helmet causes terror, as described in the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook. He had weapon skill of 8, ballistic skill of 7. You know what? He had toughness 5 in second edition. I shit you not. Toughness 5. They nerfed him, guys. Toughness 5. Oh my god, this thing on the other side of my I'm not, it's going to take me forever to get used to this. Toughness 5. God damn it. Now he permanently has -1 to hit. Yeah, but I mean, -1 to hit has its own problems, doesn't it? If you're fighting anything with power fists, then it gives you no advantage, because they're already -1 to hit. Commander Dante is one of the most experienced and able Space Marine commanders. In no small part, this is due to his quite extraordinary longevity of the Blood Angels, which he is meant which has meant he has ruled the chapter for over 1100 years. He is held in awe by the leaders of most other chapters, who can remember him as being a famous commander when they were still in the scout company. Because of his reputation, when it came to choosing a leader for the Armageddon intervention, the masters of the two other chapters taking part, the Ultramarines and the Salamanders, unanimously asked for him to be placed in command. As a leader, Dante is utterly fearless and full of drive and initiative. If his opponents ever make a mistake, Dante is on it like a flash. He always exploits their error to the full. He has a reputation for leading from the front and can usually be found where the battle is at its fiercest, plummeting from the skies at the head of his personal bodyguard, a halo of power playing around his head. How the mighty have fallen, huh? How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, that's true. He had a death mask and an infernal pistol when no one else had them, right? Like, his infernal pistol was the infernal pistol. Campaign time! Yeah. And now he's the Warden of Imperial Nihilists. Yeah, I mean, he just needs some love, man. Toughness 5 or 6. Feel no pain, and maybe some sort of aura that improves jump pack units. That gets him. That gets me sort of getting interested in him, right? Alright, did I get all the gems? Because I feel like I missed one still. You forgot to look at Cluton. Is Cluton in that book? Hold on then. Hold on. Hold on. Let me put this tiny bit of silver on this guy. This is the last Sangre Guard, right? So it's like, I believe all I need to do now is their eyes, and we're finished. Well, I need to put like the tiniest little bit of wash on this guy, but that's going to take no time at all. Oh, it feels good. 8 more Sangre Guard added to the pile. Doesn't it feel good when you finish a group of models? What's the time? 11:30. Oh, we got time to spare as well. Cluton. Dante had a conversion field that blinded enemies. That's right. Yeah, the conversion field did blind enemies. I forgot that. Scout Captain Cluton is here in this book. Oh yeah, Scout Veteran Sergeant Cluton. Okay. Any Blood Angels army may include Veteran Sergeant Cluton, and he carries the Shroud of Sanguinius. The Guardian of the Shroud may choose to activate or deactivate the status field at the start of any Blood Angel's turn. As long as the field is turned off, any Blood Angels unit within 12 inches of the Shroud becomes subject to Frenzy. When the status field reactivate, the Blood Angels units return to normal. Note the bearer of the Shroud is not affected by Frenzy when the field is deactivated. What the hell was Frenzy in 2nd edition? I do not remember. I don't have the rulebook up here at the moment. It's in my basement. Frenzy, I'm assuming it was something like... There used to be a rule, maybe it was this one, where you had to charge at the nearest target. Maybe that was what Frenzy was. Like, you couldn't control your guys. They just ran and charged the nearest targets. And yeah, so when Dante made a save, a successful save causes a blinding flash that illuminates the area with radius equal to the strength of the attacker. Any model within the area that has no eye protection. Eye protection, wow, I forgot that you had like eye protection. You used to have to wear gas masks in 2nd edition and that stuff. Will be blinded on a roll of 4, 5, or 6 until the beginning of the next turn. Models that are blinded cannot move or shoot and fight in hand-to-hand combat with a weapon skill of 1. Which I think weapon skill of 1 back in the day basically meant like you only hit on 6s. Frenzy doubled your attacks and you had to charge the nearest enemy and you couldn't fall back. Good evening, Dark Justice. How you doing? Yeah, it's funny that some of the most powerful rules for Dante there, like that's a really powerful rule, is removed, and also Mephiston had a really powerful rule as well, right? That got removed. Mephiston is able to transfix his opponent with his glowing eyes. At the start of a hand-to-hand combat round, Mephiston may be able to transfix any one model he is fighting. That model must make a successful leadership test on 2d6 to avoid Mephiston's gaze. If this is failed, the model is transfixed and he has weapon skill 0 for the remaining of the combat. So you could essentially make an enemy model almost unable to hit you. Like, I think you would probably still hit on 6s, but like, yeah, just choose one enemy in engagement range of Mephiston and be like, yeah, pass a leadership test or you literally can't hit me. Alright, I'm going to do these eyes. And I hate doing eyes, but that's where we're going. I'm going to need a finer brush for this. Grab some more Sanguine Guard from behind here. So we got eight sets of eyes to do. And then these guys are done. Done. Mephiston got robbed. Yeah, I mean, if they gave him that back, he'd be pretty good. He'd be pretty good nowadays, wouldn't he? There was some other. I liked second edition. The games took forever, but I did like it. Do you know what? The Red Grail in second edition for the Corbulo had any Blood Angels models that are within 12 inches of the Grail add 2 to their movement characteristic and their strength and weapon skill increased by 1. That was pretty good. And Mephiston did have this other rule. What gold is that on your Sanguinary Guard? So it's Retributor armor first, right? And then what I was doing tonight was washing the whole model with Reichland Flesh Shade. So if you go back to the start of this stream, you'll see I had 4 models that were just Retributor armor, and I washed the entire model, all the gold, with Reichland Flesh Shade. So just basically a thin coat over the whole model. It does leave some slight streaks in places when you do this, like up here on the very top here. You can kind of see how there's like a little tide mark of the red there. So because I'm just basically painting a wash over another color, it's never going to be perfect. Now that I've seen that, you know, that I'm going to fix that a little bit. And the way I fix it sometimes, and I'll bring this into shot, the way I'd fix it is I get a little bit more Retributor armor onto my brush, and then I'd actually mix it with a little bit of the wash first. So rather than like watering it down with water, like I'll just take the little bit of the Retributor armor and just put some wash into it, and then try and gently, like super gently, go over this tide mark. Try and get rid of it a little bit. I don't know if I've got enough gold in there. Yeah, see? And you can sort of save it. But yeah, so that's kind of how I do my gold. And I guess Retributor armor is quite a solid gold, I feel like. And when you put the wash over it, I mean, we're supposed to be Blood Angels. I think you can do this with Carabur Crimson as well. But I use Reichland Flesh Shade. I think I have a tub of Carabur Crimson, but yeah, I do it with the Flesh Shade, I guess. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of... So I usually do Warpstone Green in the eyes. Or sorry, it's not called Warpstone Green. Was this ever called Warpstone Green, or was it always Warpstone Glow? Warpstone Green in the eyes, but I like to give the eyes a little bit of tone so they're not just one solid colour. So I'm going to put like a very, very thin bit of moot green into the eyes. And then based on how well, or yeah, pretty much based on how well I do this, I might go back with the Warpstone Glow, and it basically just gives the eyes like 2 tones, makes them look like they're shining a little bit. It's probably overkill, like no one really picks the models up and looks at the eyes in too much detail, I guess, but yeah, I mean, as I say, I have my ways, or I have my plans. I went with a deep silver, gunmetal silver Sanguinary Guard instead of gold. I mean, I just did some Blade Guard in the same gold, right? Because I figured they're kind of like First Company. One thing I don't know is if you make these Blade Guard, how the hell do you paint the back of the shields? Like, they're just so close. Yeah, I don't know how the hell you're really supposed to paint the backs of the shields once you've stuck the shields on. And I know you can do sub-assemblies, but I generally stay away from them. Okay. Let's do some gold. Let's do some eyes then. Oh, yeah. I guess this death mask. I don't really paint the eyes in these death mask guys. Like, I guess to save me doing one set of eyes, it's just 7 sets of eyes then. I want this paint to be quite thin as well because I kind of want to see. I still want the Warpstone Glow to be like the main paint. So we're just trying to put the tiniest bit in here to get a little bit of a second tone. I'm trying to make it a little bit opaque by adding some water to it as well. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this on this camera. But that's what we're going for. Don't glue the shields unless those are not push fit. Yeah, those were the push fit ones. But I guess probably made the wrong call and glued everything, right? The thing is, I like to play with the models sort of like probably a few times before I even start putting any paint on them to know, like, I don't want to paint models that are trash on the tabletop, so I kind of make them, play with them a little bit, and then decide, yeah, those things are working for me, so that's where I'm going to spend my time painting, I guess. And yeah, some of these, I mean, it's a small complaint, I suppose, but yeah. This eye is quite tricky. Live and learn, no harm on how you do your own hobby. Yeah, do you know what? So when I first came back to this hobby, because I was in the hobby a lot when I was younger, and I only came back in 8th edition, so I missed, like, I had Assault on Black Reach, which I think was the starter set from 4th edition. So I think, or was that 5th edition? I think it was 4th Black Reach. So I think I missed 5th, 6th and 7th. And when I first came back, I started doing sub-assemblies. But then, because I guess maybe the way I sprayed everything was wrong, but I very often ended up making like damage on the model when I ended up trying to make the sub-assemblies after painting them. And yeah, so I just stopped doing sub-assemblies and just tried to handle making it work with without, I guess. I do have this magnifying glass that's just out of shot, right? I guess you can kind of see it's here, right? Like it's a magnifying glass, and it's a 300% magnifying glass, so it generally makes seeing things like generally much easier. It takes a little while to get used to because your hand-eye movement, your hand-eye coordination is a little bit different when you've got like that 300%, but once you get used to it, I kind of love it. Black Reach set, the Orth Death Conquerors are a bargain, as they cost a fortune on their own now. Yeah, I mean the old starter sets were so cheap. Like the starter sets now are getting so expensive. Like the Age of Sigmar one that just came out this week, I think I looked at it. It was like $125, was it? And that's in the UK where Games Workshop's based. So God knows what it was for some of you guys abroad. It must have been crazy expensive. This brush has seen better days. Some places are starting the starter set for 85. Yeah, I mean that sounds good if you can get it for 85. And I know that Games Workshop generally sell their stuff more. Like, if you go to a reseller, you can generally get it quite a bit cheaper, right? Like, I don't know why anyone buys the stuff directly from Games Workshop, but still, 125 for the box. I mean, I know you get a lot of stuff in it, but like. It does still feel like a lot of change to. We have a saying here that we always use, which is like a chunk of change, which just means like a lot of money. So it feels like a good chunk. What we would say is like it's a good chunk of change. I don't know if you guys know that saying, but that's what people would say based on the current cost. I thought Indominus was worth it though. I mean, if you can find someone to trade the half away, I thought Indominus was decent, yeah. I guess if you have the Necron friend that wanted it. Yeah, so that's why I do two tones on the eyes. You know what, that guy came out brilliantly. So you get the warp, you get the glow in the middle of the eye, and you get the darker green around the edge. And I know some people can do it with white paint, but I quite happy to do it like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, the rulebook costs £40 on its own, yeah. Alright. I think let me look at each individual Sanguinary Guard and there's scum on this guy's base. One sec. Get some Abaddon Black. I was the Necron friend, so it was worth it. How is Uriel Ventress cheaper on eBay than the GW? We should know if Uriel Ventress was he wasn't in any start collecting box or anything, was he? I don't know how I'm gonna manage this overhead mount being on that right side of me. I've hit it like 50 times tonight. Before the next live stream, I'm gonna have to figure out what we're doing with the overhead mount. But I want to use this camera here because I think this camera is actually much higher quality than the one I used before. have to say they look very nice. Well done. Oh, thanks, man. I always feel like I take an age to paint things, but and they're not the greatest, right? Like, I don't do edge highlighting, and I don't, well, sometimes I do. On black models I do edge highlighting, but for the most part I don't do too much edge highlighting. And also I feel like my detail work and my freehand are average at best. But I mean, I do spend a decent amount of time on them. I think I'm happy with this one. I'm gonna look at them all real quick and then decide if there's any final touch-ups to do. But there's Chaos Marine on that guy's base. There's a skull on one of their bases. It could be a Chaos Marine, I guess. Don't actually know if I've ever finished a squad of guys on stream, you know that? This might be the first time. And they aren't perfect, but battle ready is where I aim for. So I think I've hit that. I was supposed to get a game in today, but everyone didn't want to play. It's hit or miss here. Why did they not want to play, Mark? I have 5 Sanguinary Guard to paint this coming week from the first tournament, really crawling over the line, finishing the army. I've been there before. It can be tough. I hate having to paint on like a schedule like that because it's funny because I feel like I'm a perfectionist, but also I feel like I'm not that good at painting, so I don't know how those two things can be. I don't know how I can be a perfectionist but not that good. I guess I just try and be good within the level of my ability would be the way to look at it. Oh, I'm going to put a tiny bit of wash on the metal I painted on this guy earlier. Blood Angels Commander John, is there a Twitch channel or just the YouTube one? I have a Twitch channel. I mean, you can find it. It's just BA Commander, I think. If you want to hit me up on Twitch, you're more than welcome to follow. I did get invited to the Twitch affiliate thing, or whatever that's called, Twitch affiliate, I think. But if you want to become a Twitch affiliate, you have to. All your content needs to go on Twitch first before YouTube, and it has to be exclusive on Twitch for 24 hours, and like I didn't want to do that, so I declined the Twitch affiliate thing. So my main home is YouTube for sure, but like I am on Twitch, but just not quite as. It seems like a stupid condition anyway. I took 4 editions of 40k to get me to buy and paint Sanguinary Guard. Yeah, I painted a huge batch of them last year, but like loads of them have like plasma pistols and power fists and stuff, and like that stuff just isn't competitive at the moment in my opinion. So I had to do just the assault bolt. Yeah, what are they called? They're not called assault bolters, Angelus bolters, and had to just do 8 Angelus bolters and swords basically. One of these guys has got an infernal pistol. They were playing other games. Oh, that sucks, Mark. If I wanted to stay up all night to play it, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a video of all my painted stuff pretty soon. I think, well, I'm gonna remake my channel trailer because my channel trailer came out last October and the channel's changed a lot since last October. I mean, my channel's only like 2 months old in October, maybe. Yeah, two and a half months old. So I guess things have changed a lot since last October. So I remake my channel trailer, and when I remake my channel trailer, I've obviously got a better camera now, so I'm going to film a bit more of the models that I have painted. And I think, I want to say I'm at like 8,000 points now of fully painted. If I get these guys varnished tomorrow, then that'll be about 8,000 points. So I mean, that's not bad when I only came back to the hobby in was it Dark Imperium? Was that the starter set for 8th edition? I actually just have 3 models left to paint as well, and then that starter set will be completely painted, which is something, maybe it's not a big claim to fame, but for me I'd be happy to finally have last edition starter set painted, and then I can start finishing this edition starter set. I'm thinking of changing my list and dropping my 6 Death Company down to 5 and taking 5 Infernal Pistols, 2 in each squad of Sanguinary Guard and 1 my Bite Captain. I like Infernal Pistols, man. You know, like some people say like they don't see a lot of value in them. I always think that if you have an Infernal Pistol there, it's just a way to do some good damage against a high value enemy target. You know, you very often are going to have a Sanguinary Guard unit or a Captain unit close to a high value target. Infernal Pistols are no joke, you know? It's funny how they're only 5, you know, for 5 points, they basically do the damage of like 2.5 Thunderhammer hits. Well, I guess on a good roll they can do the damage of basically 2.5 thunder damage hits. You might like the 7th edition Death Company formation. I have for ye old 7th ed a 30 Death Company, and it was stupid. Was it 30 Death Company in a single squad? Because that does sound stupid. Alright. Yeah, this one's got a skull on his base, right? It's a heretic. What timing? It has just hit midnight, and you guys know that I like to try and finish up around midnight. Just tidy up this base a tiny bit. I think we call it there, guys. I think that is 8 Sanguinary Guard finished, along with the 3 Blade Guard veterans. Let me hope that we get a day of low humidity tomorrow, and we will spray these guys, or varnish them rather. Uh, 3 times 10 man with a variety of weapons, and yes, heaps of Infernal Pistols. Yeah, I mean, how many Infernal Pistols do I run in my army? I think it's just... See, I run 2 Meltaguns on 2 of my characters. A Combi Melta on the Librarian and just a regular Meltagun on the... But, I mean, you could almost consider them similar to Infernal Pistols, right? And then 1 in the Sanguinary Guard, 1 in the Vanguard Veterans, 1 on the Captain on the Bike. I think they give you value. I really do. So the AOS Domination box came out, and I got 3 boxes of Stormcast models, and the Wing Girl can easily be modified. I have seen that Wing Girl. I would love to see some conversions of her, to be honest. So if you're doing a conversion of that, Mark, please share it in Discord. And do you know what? If it's a really cool conversion, here's a challenge for you guys. Whoever does the best conversion of that Wing Girl, we'll put her up on the community page, and we'll share it out with everybody on the. We'll share it out with all the subscribers and all the members, so you guys can all see it. Because yeah, I think it's I had seen that, and I noticed already. Do you know what? She's on eBay. What's her name again? Go remind me of her name, because I already searched for her on eBay, so it'll come up in my eBay history. Oh look, here's your recently viewed items. Oh, I was looking at football tops. Maybe it's on the second page? Yeah, look, here's your Stormcast Eternals. I was looking at football tops again and aggressors. Yeah, no, what's the name of that? I thought I looked at this girl on eBay. I'm sure I did. No? No, okay, it's not coming up. Maybe I wasn't logged in. We can get her off the Games Workshop website. Games Workshop. You have no clue. Alright, we'll find it. Hold on. Fast selling Dominion. Yeah, I went down here and it said... I think this is her. Yndrasa. I definitely searched her before, so I guess I don't know. Like, I guess maybe I searched it on my phone and I'm not logged in. Holy shit, someone's selling it painted for 160 bucks. Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. Here we go. What's the cheapest one? 20 bucks? 19 bucks? She could make a pretty cool, like, the wings. I wonder if you, like, would you cut her off at the waist and use like a Primaris Space Marine from the waist up, or what would you do? Like, how are you converting this? Because the wings is the main part, right? And like, would you have her on that same base, or what's the logic behind? Joseph, I know I don't talk, but I do love painting while watching this channel. I had every intention of having an early night. Joseph, thank you so much for hanging out, man. You guys don't always need to talk. It's totally fine to just watch, you know? I probably talk more than, you know... I just blabber. I just love the Blood Angels. What else is there to say? I'm so glad that you guys are here to hang out as well. I do think that this could be a very interesting model. Let's see the painted one. It's an okay paint job. I'm not sure it's a £160 paint job though, is it? Nah, it's not. It's not £160. Maybe like 80 bucks, but 160 seems like too much. Cut her off at the waist and use the Sanguinary Guard body. Yeah, cut her off at the waist and use the Sanguinary Guard body. Yeah, I wonder which size she is. Like, is she similar to a Primaris Marine? Yeah, if you share some photos, lose the head in that right shoulder of lightning, shorten the right spear, give it a dead demon head on the base. Yeah, or like a dead noise marine or something on the base. Oh, she's small, is she? Okay. Oh well, for sure. Please share Please share whatever it is you come up with. And is this for the Sanguinar, or is this for somebody else? But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It's been a fun stream. We are going to be back tomorrow, obviously. 4 PM UK time, we'll be back tomorrow. Saint Celestine or the Knight Judicar wings seem better. I don't know, the wings on that thing are pretty cool, I think. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 4 PM. If you did enjoy tonight's stream, please consider hitting that like button. And if you are new here, then, you know, it's always appreciated if you subscribe. We are growing a pretty cool Blood Angels community. Yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day as well. And we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be live on Monday night as well. So keep an eye out. 2 live streams coming up, Sunday and Monday. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Thanks for hanging out. By the blood are we made strong. Strong. I need to remember that. Strong. By the blood are we made strong. Peace.